So this is a video response to Jacqueline's video. So Jacqueline's video where you can actually see Jacqueline. First of all, yes, it is very weird. I find it really weird looking at myself too. Instead of looking at the camera, I look at myself, and it is a bit strange. But we'll get used to it. Just try and think of the people watching you instead of looking at yourself, if you can. Think of it as a conversation. So some of the points that you brought up are, I think, very thought-provoking. This whole idea of the this godlike concept that comes out of Leopold is really a good one, and the idea of giving and taking away life. And it's really funny considering that in many ways life is this cycle, and as things we perceive them as dying, but they're simply being part of a larger cycle of life. When a tree is cut down or falls down or whatever, it changes to something else. It provides nutrients for the soil, it provides places for animals to live, or it gets turned into energy if people burn it or whatever. We're not as powerful as we think. We can certainly create a lot of destruction, but we're more of a short-term problem than we'd like to think we are, in some ways, I think. But very interesting, and I really appreciate the links to your own experiences, like the illustration of the tree rings and linking that to history. I do like to think of trees as being kind of these companions to our experience. So from the McDonough and Braungart reading, the recycling is aspirin. I love that analogy, by the way. So I'm glad you brought it up. That's a great one, because it does feel a bit like a hangover when we look at what we're doing, generally speaking, to society and the earth. So the anti-Truman doctrine idea is a good idea. It really, this idea of externalizing problems is happening on multiple levels. We allow corporations to pollute and externalize the costs of that pollution. They don't pay for it. Taxpayers pay for it. People pay for it with their own health. So many other things happen because they're just allowed to happen in that way. And then when you look at the United States and kind of the changes from the more responsible but still leaving something to be desired administration before G.W. Bush, then we have Bush's idea that there can't be anything wrong with the United States, so it's someone else's problem, sort of externalizing it, when in so many ways we create the problems. The overconsumption of the United States is more of an issue than just about any other. We talk about how China is polluting, but in many ways they're polluting in order to manufacture for us. So again, that responsibility shifts back on us in so many ways. Or how many nations are now over-consuming simply because they're emulating the United States, U.S. culture that we've kind of exported to them. So we definitely need to take responsibility for that. And as you put it in your critique of eco-efficiency, it's that cultural shift. That's what we need to be looking towards, is a cultural shift. So that's a great kind of tie-up at the end of your video. As far as the capitalist society bit, that's a tougher one, and I think that McDonough and Braungart are really more capitalist than many other people who are into sustainability, in the sense that they believe that we can continue having kind of an abundant life in the way that many Americans think about it. We just have to do it in a more intelligent way. I'd say that they still think that we should reduce a lot of the waste involved, but that we can still have kind of growth and new products and new ideas and that sort of thing, as long as they're designed in such a way that they don't have to be downcycled afterwards. So that's a bit of a tricky one, and there are plenty of people who don't agree with their position, which still isn't like uber capitalist or anything. It's more the consumerism than capitalism even that's an issue, and capitalism is its own, that's a whole other story. As far as your video is concerned, you have great ideas and you put them out there, and that's totally fine. You'll get used to sitting in front of a camera and that people are watching that and that you're watching yourself. If it helps, you can cover up the little picture of yourself and just look at your webcam. But I think that it's going to be a helpful tool for all of us and a good thing for you to kind of get used to this. And the video, you cut it in half from the first time to the second time, which I know from several times that I've had to re-record videos very recently here, that it's kind of frustrating to have to do that. But still, it's it's kind of a good exercise. And honestly, once you get used to this, it's going to take less and less time to get your ideas across. So I look forward to that. I think you're not going to have a problem with that. Just work on making sure that you're presenting your ideas in a way that works for you. If that ends up taking a few more minutes, well, that's okay. It's good to have an eye for that as far as the time of your classmates and that sort of thing is concerned. But your ideas are the important part. So that's job one, and you did that. So well done, and I look forward to seeing your next post.